good working relationship with the Ministry of Lands, and almost all the proposals made here we've actually explored with the Ministry of Lands, including lands offering us staff seconded to UNRWA to try and resolve the whole matter of delays. But as you heard, I think Honorable Sibadu said, the issues are beyond just UNRWA or even Ministry of Lands. They are actually national issues which need to be resolved. And so when the proposal was made that this committee should see how to help, for me I was very happy. We do not want to hold people's titles. They're not ours. We just want to remove our part and hand over those titles because those are people's assets. However, when these matters end up in court, they must be resolved. First, we try the mediation, like you said, Honorable Chair. And when that fails, that's when they're escalated. And I think Titus Kamia was instructed to give a status of these cases, which he shall give. So I'm not sure whether we want to go through that now, because we didn't come with it, but we shall submit it so that you're able to appraise yourself which case is at what level. That 6.911 was in the event, and I think we need to read it carefully. In the event that the courts rule in favor of these claimants, there's a risk of significant financial loss to government in terms of damage. That is, if we lose these cases. But we're not losing cases. That's why he's going to give you a status so that you know where we have won, where we have mediated, where we have lost. Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I think that information...
Establishing an EMZO at the entity, but still the challenge is still there. Chair, my concern is I'm trying to see how best we shall give our recommendation in respect to this issue. Because in the event that they have established an EMZO, but still the problem is still there. I don't know, which option are you looking at as an entity beyond what you've tried to establish, but the problem is still there? Because my interest is not to see how many cases you are trying to handle. We want to see how best we can avoid cases. Because issues of litigation, issues of court settlements, all that means cost. But we want to have a lasting solution that can avoid a number of cases, because the cases means it's first of all affecting the entity. Projects can't move on because some projects are affected. The individuals themselves who go to court, they're also affected. Imagine you're the owner of that property, you can't use it, it's in court, and you wanted to develop it, or get money out of it and go and do other things, but you're in court for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So which option can you give us?
Yes, Honorable Baka.
Thanks very much.
If you could try to be as brief as possible, that would...
But to me, it's not a number of lawyers you have. No. I'm looking at the quality and the speed. Because even though they get 100 and they are going to take another century, this 6.99
additional information. Actually, he said that it is not the size of the dog that matters, but the fight in the dog.
That's taken. No more. I'm not giving you the mic.
Chair.
No.
All lawyers are lawyers.
For return of land titles, and I think Titus can correct me if I'm wrong. There are several litigation cases related to land. Some are non-return of land titles, some are refusing compensation, they just don't want the amount. So the status will give you, some are ownership, yes, dispute. So you will get the status of each case from what we are going to present, so that we can tell you which ones are, refusal to return titles and which one are not. But Titus can support the answer.
Yes.
Just being too much. We just want to resolve one or two issues, just like you requested. You need our assistance. And we want that maybe in the next year that we have interface, we will have a better report from UNRWA. And as you go now, from now, to go and work on the road, the bridges, the Kalongo Road, the Nebi Road, everywhere in Uganda. I think, yes, this is a representation of Uganda. Yeah, yes. So a representation of Uganda, so go back and do work.
Chair.
Go back and do serious work. Go back and do serious monitoring. Go back and put value to the money. Yes.
Chair,
now, honorable members want to talk. You know that the chair speaks last. And I had given ourselves only 5 minutes. But I will give a chance to Honorable Maneno just to say a vote of thanks in 1 second. And then our guests will be seen out. We will have a 5-minute in-house business, and then we'll call it a day.
Pakwach Bridge, it's the road. The Pakwach Bridge is safe, but there is a low-lying area on the road just as you're approaching Pakwach where the water crossed the road. The amount of water that was moving was quite a lot, so it swept the road, it swept the culverts. So our team is now on site, waiting for the water levels to go down. Actually, our team was on site yesterday, including the RDC, the DPC, the chairman 5 of Pakwach, and they controlled the traffic so that from both sides, from Noya side and from Pakwach side, to stop people getting accidents. So there was a kind of a build-up of traffic, but they stopped them. Some drivers are rather stubborn, and I think you will see one of the trucks that actually decided to move and got stuck on culverts which were exposed. My appeal to the people is when police stops you, please stop. There is a reason they are trying to save your life. So our teams are now on site. When the water level goes down, we shall restore the road and people will continue moving. In the meantime, we have given different routes that people can use. They will be on the news today, they're on social media, they're everywhere. The advisories for alternative routes. What is the cause? Primarily, I think it's climate change. It's causing most of our water bodies, lakes, rivers to actually rise significantly. And so we'll have to see how we manage in those circumstances. That's why our people are on site, not just to restore, but also to study future trends so that when we build infrastructure, we have that in mind. That is on Pakwach Bridge or Pakwach Road. On Kasokoso, the question that the honorable members of parliament asked, in Kasokoso, we have different people occupying land, some of which actually belongs to National Housing. National Housing has title, but over the years there has been encroachment and different people have lived on that land knowing that this land actually belongs to National Housing. Now we're going to construct an expressway from Kampala to Jinja through that very area. The requirements of the development partners who are supporting this project is that we compensate not just National Housing, but we also compensate those who may not have title but have lived on the land for quite some time. We sought the guidance of Attorney General, and he actually supported that view because of the fact that this is money which is borrowed, was passed by Parliament with those conditions. So we'll assess those people and we'll pay them just as that standard requires.
How has the delays affected the operation?
Not affected the progress of the civil works, because two processes are running concurrently. One is that compensation, the land acquisition process. The second one is the procurement of the company that will develop the expressway. Those two are running. And so up to this point, the compensation issues that we've been discussing have not affected the progress of procurement of the contractor. We just want to make sure that by the time we get the contractor on site, we have acquired the entire right-of-way.
Madam Idi, what could be the delay on project?
I have experienced some delays. There were two main ones. The major one was COVID. As you are all aware, 2020 was a difficult year, even up to 2021. A lot of things slowed down, materials coming in slowed down because most of the materials were imported. Workers were sick, so the manpower also reduced, and that caused delay in the project. The other one, there was some delay in bringing in, the company had some delay in bringing in some of the equipment or materials to be used, not because of COVID, but I think they had their own challenges. Eventually, they brought that in. However, they will catch up with time. We're anticipating to finish, I think, in March next year. We've extended them time. We had thought they would finish in December, but because of these delays, we've had to give them more time.
Madam Idi, 376.
We have a number of cases in court concerning land, but there are various issues. One is titles which you have not returned yet. The other issue is people who have disputed the amount that have been approved by the chief government valuer. The other one are disputes where people don't agree with each other on who the owner is. Each one of these is at a different stage in the process. Many of these we first start with mediation, amicable settlement, so that we don't actually have to end up in court. And so many of those are resolved like that. So that's what's happening at the moment.